Hi everyone, it's Dutch Reefer here and welcome to a new Reef Keeping 101 video update. So today's video will finally, for the first time in 3 weeks I think, be about the big tank again. As most of you know, I've had a kind of a love-hate relationship with this tank since it's pretty hard for me to get it under control. Luckily I've gotten a lot of tips from you guys, so thank you for that, in how to regain some balance into this tank, and it seems to be going in the right direction again, which I can appreciate. So I've been trying to approach it from various ways, from different ways, which I can get into a bit in this video. But this video will be mainly about keeping soft corals in a large fish tank, which you can see right here. So I've been removing quite a lot of my sand recently from the tank, so I noticed that there was quite a lot of detritus building up on the sand and inside the sand. So whenever the sand sifting gobies would gobble up the sand, they would also bring up a lot of detritus with it. And it gave me the idea to look a little bit more into that. So also checking experiences from other reefers, and it seems that a lot of bad stuff can build up over time in your sand. So I just to be sure decided to start removing some of the sand. So there will be like a 1, 2, 3 centimeter sand bed left, about 1 inch, and then remove all the excessive sand that's not needed. Just to see how it will go over time. And I have to say, even the short-term results look quite promising. So I've been doing this for the past 2 weeks, and it already seems to be clearing up pretty well. So that's that's great, and I'm really happy that it's going in the right direction again. So you'll also see some more colors in this tank, as the corals, of course, look better when the water is also better. So getting into soft corals, there are quite a lot of those in this tank. It's a bit of a choice that I didn't really have much of a choice. If you've seen some of my previous videos, I'll talk about what high nutrition does to your corals. So overall, corals don't really appreciate if there's a lot of PO4 or NO3 nitrates and phosphates in your tank. So that's why I have a lot of soft corals in here. Soft corals tend to do pretty well under high PO4 and NO3. Some of them really shine, like for example this mushroom coral right here, or toadstool actually. The mushrooms are right here actually. So this is a toadstool coral, which has always been doing well. Some of the others are also being targeted by, for example, the angelfish. So this little creature right here, the Pygopletes dicanthus, which is a very beautiful angelfish, a regal angelfish, but it also developed a taste for especially soft corals, which is a shame, but definitely worth keeping one of these fish. If you've been a long time follower, you'll know that this fish has been out of my tank for a couple of months. I sold it actually, and then I regretted it, and the guy who I sold it to, well, it was also eating some of his corals, and I said, well, no worries, I'll take it back from you gladly. So I'm very glad that I got that one back. So yeah, while that does nip on some of the corals, so for example, I'll give you a quick peek. It really, for some reason, it really likes this coral right here. I'm not sure why, but it does. And then also on the other side, there's another toadstool coral right underneath the sea urchin, which is also being eaten quite significantly. It's a bit hard to show. However, yeah, some of these corals are definitely targeted by the angelfish. But overall, I think the soft corals in the tank are doing pretty well. I hope this video is a bit sharp, because sometimes I see it going out of focus a little bit, so I hope it's not too bad. I'm using a yellow lens, by the way, by D&D. It's a coral lens. If I take it off, then the tank will look a lot more blue, as you can see right now. So it's but somehow it's a bit struggling whenever this lens is on. But let's continue. So there's some Anthelia right here, which is also a type of soft coral, which is well, actually really doing well. And same goes for the green star polyp, which is on 2 different locations in this tank, but it's the biggest chunk is here on the back pane, where the overflow box is, and it's really shining. And look at this majestic. It's brown, I know the color is not great, but look at the polyp expansion. That's really something, right? So yeah, I can really appreciate these kind of corals, even though they are just brown. And of course there are inverts as well, so they're anemones. This white one, for example, which recently the clownfish started hosting it, which I can really appreciate, since yeah, hosting clownfish, if clownfish are hosting an anemone, that's kind of the way that it's supposed to be, and I can just really appreciate it when I see this behavior. It yeah, feels lifelike. Then there's another red one, which I actually have a couple of. Let's say hi to the dog for a minute. Hey there. Yeah, very sleepy indeed. So that's Moana. She's our dog. Yeah, so here's the red one that I was referring to. There were actually 2, and well, you know how it goes with them. Now there are 3. There's one here as well, as you can see, and then there's one more that's hiding behind there, if you look closely. So this one actually split up, moved to a different island, and yeah, decided to split up, which is great, which is natural behavior. So that's also pretty. That's also fine. Now, somehow these corals also do very well. We call it I think it's Cinelaria dura, if I'm correct, and this is just the brown one, beige, if you will. Looks a bit blue in the middle, but overall just brownish. And then if you look at this one, which is exactly the same coral, but then it's the colors are just out of this world, so it's kind of a toxic green. And yeah, they're both the same type of coral, yet completely different colors. And I can appreciate both. Of course, the green one looks a lot better, a lot more beautiful, gives a lot more color to the tank. But then again, it's not just about the color, it's also about the way a coral looks. And I think that this one looks really great, and even better than the green one. Then some Zoanthus. Soft corals are nice, but having some color, some small colored flowers in your tank is also very nice. Now these are also targeted by the angelfish, so I don't have a lot of Zoanthus in the tank, since they will get eaten occasionally, but there are definitely some in there. For example, these small blue ones here as well. They're a bit hard to see, but there are definitely some. And yeah, of course, the big Palithoa grandis, which are right here. I never had these before, since I somehow thought they were very toxic, which is, well, of course, if you take them out and start irritating them, there's definitely polytoxins inside them, as goes with all Palithoa and even Zoanthus, but in a much lower volume. Yet these are very beautiful polyps, even especially when you look up close. I think from a distance they look kind of pale, but if you zoom in, then these are really, yeah, they're beautifully shaped, and I really like the way the colors mix and the way they grow. So very happy that I got that about 6 months ago. And yes, of course, there are some Gorgonians as well. So there's all the Gorgonians in this tank are photosynthetic Gorgonians. So they feed on light mainly. Also, the non-photosynthetic Gorgonians are very hard to keep alive. There is a small one in here, which is still alive, which is right here, and it's in the shadows on purpose. It's normally red, but it's a bit hard to show you since it's in the shade. But overall, the normal leather Gorgonians are doing pretty well, as you can see there as well. And this beautiful purple one, which is a purple feather Gorgonian, also very happy with the way that one looks. And let's close it off with this corky Gorgonian. Now this one I also got recently, and I think it's just beautiful the way they look and they grow in thick branches. And I think it's especially nice that you can use them to create kind of an overhang into your tank, so it gives a lot of dynamic to the reefscape. It actually enhances the reefscape by sticking out there and just waving out there in the current. And I think that's quite a complete overview of the soft corals that are inside my big fish only tank. Of course, it's not really fish only if there are corals inside, but I try to stick to soft corals, and of course these beautiful fish that inhabit this tank as well. So I hope that was something you liked. Thanks again for watching. The dog and the cat are fighting again, so yeah, gotcha. So let's end this video right here, and thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there. Hope you're doing fine, and I hope to see you in the next one. So for now, have a nice weekend, and bye bye.